Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast.
We are diving into chapter 189 today, number 2.
And let me tell you, this chapter is all about a villain finally stepping out from behind the curtain. We have been waiting for the big confrontation, for the man pulling all the strings to show his face. We've heard his name, we've seen his agents, we've felt his influence across this entire desert, but he's been a phantom.
He's been a ghost, a name whispered in back rooms, the architect of a civil war operating with the impunity of a government-sanctioned warlord, while simultaneously working to dismantle that very government from within, the Grand Manipulator.
And now he's just standing there, in the middle of the palace square, looking at Vivi like he's just there to collect the rent. The absolute nerve of this man. It's not an attack, it's an announcement that the property is under new management.
It's the kind of confidence that can topple a kingdom, a confidence born from meticulous planning and overwhelming power. If you want to see how this all plays out with us, make sure you're following the show. That way you won't miss the moment this kingdom either stands or falls.
Exactly. Let's get into it. The chapter kicks off right where we left off, with Sanji and Mr. 2, Bon Clay, locked in a brutal kicking contest.
This isn't a graceful ballet by any means. It's two powerful fighters throwing everything they have at each other. Oda's art here is fantastic. It's not about intricate poses. It's about conveying sheer force. You can almost hear the thud and the crack of bone on bone with every panel.
Oh, you can feel it. It's like a drum solo of kicks. Sanji is a whirlwind of black trousers and dress shoes, and he is just laying into Bon Clay with his black leg style. But Bon Clay is giving as good as he gets. He's not just blocking, he's countering with his Okama Kenpo, these powerful, sweeping, swan-themed attacks. It's this bizarre, beautiful, and utterly brutal dance.
It's a perfect clash of styles, really. Sanji's technique is direct, precise, and built on delivering the maximum amount of force to a single point. It's all about impact. Bon Clay's Okama Kenpo is more fluid, theatrical, and deceptive. He uses spins and wide arcs to generate power.
And you can see the toll it's taking on both of them. They're bruised, they're sweating, but neither one is giving an inch. This isn't about some grand ideal for them. It's a personal duel. It's my kicks are stronger than your kicks, and that's it. It's so pure.
They both wind up for one last decisive blow. It's that classic moment where everything goes silent for a second before they collide. The paneling slows down, focusing on their faces, the determination in Sanji's eye, and the focused grimace on Bon Clay's.
And they connect, simultaneously. It's a perfect clash. Sanji lands this massive kick right in Bon Clay's face, and for a second you think he's got it clean. The impact panel is just incredible. But then you see he took a hit too, a big one, because he drops to his knees, clutching his chest. He didn't come out of that unscathed.
Mr. 2, on the other hand, is sent flying. He crashes hard into a nearby building, and the sound effect is just crush. That's it. He's down for the count, buried in a pile of stone and splintered wood.
Sanji is still on his knees, breathing hard, smoke coming off his leg and from his mouth. He just says, "It's my win." It's not a boast, it's just a statement of fact, and he had to push himself to his absolute limit to make it true. And Bon Clay from the rubble actually agrees. He says, "Yes, magnificent."
It's a declaration of respect. In the world of Baroque Works, failure is the end. There are no honorable losses. For Bon Clay to acknowledge the skill of his opponent, even in defeat, is the first crack we see in that cold, professional facade.
Total respect. And this is where the fight gets its real heart. This is what makes it a top-tier Sanji moment. Sanji admits that if Bon Clay had transformed into Nami, he wouldn't have been able to land that final kick. He would have been helpless. He straight up tells his enemy his biggest weakness.
Which is Sanji's code. We've seen it time and time again, from his refusal to fight Pearl on the Bharati to his encounters with female marines. It is his greatest strength in terms of his character and chivalry, and in a fight like this, his most exploitable weakness. Bon Clay had a literal "I win" button in his arsenal and didn't realize its full potential until it was too late.
I wonder if he even could have used it effectively. Like, would he have switched at the last second? Could Sanji have pulled the kick? The fact that he's admitting it now shows how much he respects Bon Clay as a fighter. He's treating him like an equal, not just some scumbag agent.
And that's precisely what shatters Bon Clay's composure. He doesn't even mock Sanji for it. He just dismisses it, saying he can't move anyway, so it doesn't matter. He seems completely defeated, resigned to his fate, even saying Baroque Works will probably just terminate him for failing his mission.
That word, terminate, it's so cold, like he's a faulty piece of equipment being discarded. You get the sense that to him, losing the fight wasn't the end. The real end is the punishment from his own organization.
It highlights the brutal, utilitarian nature of Crocodile's empire. You are a tool. You have a function. If you fail to perform that function, you are broken and thrown away. There's no room for honor or respect or a good fight. There's only success or removal.
But Sanji doesn't see it that way. He doesn't operate in that world. He just walks over, his suit all torn up, looks down at the guy who was trying to kill him a minute ago, and extends a hand. He just says, it was a good fight. No judgment, no gloating, just pure, simple recognition.
And Bon Clay is completely floored by this. The panel of his face, the shock in his eyes, he doesn't understand. He's the enemy, he's the failure. Why is this man, the victor, showing him kindness? In his world, this does not compute.
He's crying, actually crying, these huge comical tears streaming down his face as he grabs Sanji's hand, and he calls it the friendship of fighting. That's his Okama way. He found a connection, a bond through a battle to the death. It's like he was looking for this his whole life and found it in the last place he expected. It's beautiful, man.
It's a beautiful and slightly tragic moment. He's so starved for genuine connection that he finds it in an enemy who showed him a moment of honor. It suggests his whole persona, the theatrics and the Okama way, might be a shield. Underneath it all is someone who just wants to be seen and respected as an individual, not just as Mr. Two.
And then, pure Sanji. After this deeply emotional, world-altering moment for Bon Clay, he just casually reaches down, plucks Usopp's goggles off Bon Clay's head and puts them back where they belong. Just adjusts them on Usopp's unconscious head, like he's tidying up.
He never forgot why he was there. The fight was personal, a clash of pride and style, but the mission was for his crewmate. That simple action says everything about Sanji's priorities. He can have this profound moment with an enemy, but the second it's over, his focus snaps right back to the crew.
Always for the crew. He starts to walk away carrying Usopp, and Bon Clay is just lying there, watching him go, and he mutters that Sanji finished him off after all. It's like he can't quite believe the sequence of events. He thought he lost a fight, but he's realizing he lost something bigger.
The kick, the mercy, the respect, and then the quiet walk off into the dust. Sanji didn't just beat him physically, he completely dismantled his worldview. Bon Clay lived by the code of Baroque Works, a cold and ruthless system. Sanji showed him a different code, one of chivalry, respect, and camaraderie.
That's it exactly. He showed him there's a different way to live, a different code to fight by. That's a bigger defeat for Bon Clay than any kick could ever be. What an incredible end to that fight. It's going to have ripples. I can feel it.
It is. It's the kind of encounter that changes a person's entire trajectory. But the battle for Alabasta is far from over. We cut back to the palace and the situation is grim.
Beyond grim. Chaka, the guardian jackal, one of the two protectors of the royal Alabasta family, is ordering the royal guard to pack the palace with gunpowder. His plan is to literally blow the entire royal palace off the map. This is their final, desperate gambit.
He sees it as the only way. If the rebels take the palace, the symbol of the kingdom, the war is lost. The momentum would be irreversible. So he's choosing to destroy the symbol himself, a scorched earth policy to deny the enemy their ultimate prize. It's a terrible, heartbreaking decision.
You can see the pain on his face. This is his home. He's sworn to protect it. Every stone, every hall, and now he's giving the order to turn it to dust. He hesitates, his hand trembling, and Vivi steps in.
And she's not the princess we met in Whiskey Peak anymore, not the girl who was hiding and running. There's a hardness to her, a resolute forged in the fires of this journey. She puts a hand on his shoulder and tells him that it's because of him, because of this impossible choice, that they can make a difference. She's affirming his decision.
She's a leader now, not just a princess. She's comforting her commander, validating the hardest decision of his life. It's an insane role reversal. He's supposed to be the strong one protecting her, but in this moment, she's giving him the strength to go through with it. She even apologizes for leaving the country, for putting all this on his shoulders.
She understands the burden of leadership now. She spent so much time trying to stop the fighting, but now she has absolute clarity on one point. She says there can be no peace in Alabasta as long as that man is alive.
She means Crocodile. It's not about the rebels or the fighting anymore. It's about him. One man who has poisoned her entire country. She's finally realized you can't treat the symptoms. You have to cut out the cancer. That's a huge shift in her thinking.
She's looking at the root of the problem, not just the symptoms. And then, for a moment, the leader fades and the friend returns. She starts to worry about the Straw Hats, about Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Sanji.
Of course she does. They're all scattered across the city, fighting for their lives, for her. She has no idea if they're okay. She knows what they're up against, but then she remembers what Zoro told her back when they all committed to this fight.
Go on and continue living. A simple, direct command.
No matter what may happen to us. Chills every time. That is the promise they made to her. They put their lives on the line so that she could live, so that her country could live. That memory is what centers her. It's what gives her the strength to stand there and prepare to blow up her own home.
It's the ultimate expression of the crew's faith in each other. They don't need to be in the same place to be together. Their shared will is what connects them. Zoro's words, spoken chapters ago, are giving Vivi strength in the present. That is the nature of their bond.
Chaka sees it too. He looks at her, really looks at her, and tells her she's become so strong, so independent. It's a beautiful moment between them. This guardian who has known her since she was a child, recognizing the queen she is becoming right before his eyes.
They even share a moment of hope, a tiny flicker in the darkness. She talks about her promise to Luffy.
The feast. After all this is over, she's promised them a massive feast. It's such a simple, Luffy-centric goal, but right now it feels like the most important thing in the world. It's not about politics or crowns or history. It's about friendship and food. It's a promise of a future.
A future they are all fighting for. A future where they can all sit down and eat together again, free from the weight of this war. It's the light at the end of the tunnel.
And just as they're holding on to that single thread of hope, a voice cuts through the air. A slow, lazy drawl that just oozes arrogance.
A dry, condescending voice, utterly devoid of warmth or passion.
You've managed to cause a lot of trouble.
And there he is, standing in the palace plaza, Sir Crocodile.
Just there. He didn't send an agent. He didn't make a grand explosive entrance. He just walked into the heart of the royal capital, right up to the front steps of the palace, and announced himself like he owns the place. The sheer unadulterated audacity is supersized.
The sheer arrogance is breathtaking. He's confronting Vivi and the entire remaining royal army by himself. He's wearing his big fur coat in the middle of the desert. He's smoking a cigar. The message is clear. None of you are a threat to me.
He's not even treating it like a threat. He looks bored, annoyed, like Vivi is just an insect he finally has to bother to swat. The level of disrespect is off the charts. He has been systematically destroying her life, her family, and her country for years, and he looks at her like she's a minor inconvenience.
Okay, but think about what this means from a strategic perspective. His plan is entering its final stage. He is done hiding. He believes he has already won, and this is just a formality. His arrival signals the endgame.
He let the civil war fester, let both sides tear each other apart until they were exhausted, and now he's just waltzing in to claim the prize. It's a perfect villain move. Calculated, cruel, and utterly confident. He didn't even have to break a sweat himself until this very moment.
He's a master of psychological warfare, arriving at this exact moment when they've just made their most desperate plan is no accident. He's there to crush their last ember of hope personally, to show them that even their most extreme sacrifice would be meaningless.
And what can they even do? Chaka is a Zoan user. He's strong, but this is a warlord of the sea. A man who defeated Luffy without breaking a sweat, left him for dead in the sand. The Royal Army is just fodder to him. He can turn to sand. How do you even fight that?
It's a checkmate move. Or at least he believes it is. He's cornered the king, or in this case the princess, and is ready to end the game. He's not just there to kill her, he's there to monologue. He's there to explain just how completely she has lost before he finishes it.
This is it. The final boss has entered the arena. I am so unbelievably hyped and terrified for Vivi. My heart is pounding for her right now.
As we should be. But she's not the only one in mortal danger. The chapter then cuts away to the northern part of the city, giving us a sharp, sudden change of pace.
Right, to Zoro. And he is classic Zoro. He's worried about Nami, remembering that he told her to hide and she just ran off. He's trying to find her, to protect her. He's being a good, responsible first mate.
And he immediately runs in the completely wrong direction.
Of course he does. It's his one true weakness. The man can cut steel but can't read a map to save his life. There are signs, there are street names, and he just picks a direction and goes, this way probably. It's hilarious but also incredibly stressful right now. The fate of his crewmate rests on his sense of direction and he has none.
Because while he's getting lost, following his own internal broken compass, we see Nami, and she's running for her life.
She is in full-on panic mode, screaming for that stupid swordsman. And right behind her, walking calmly, not even jogging, are Mr. One and Miss Doublefinger.
Mr. One and Miss Doublefinger, the top two remaining officer agents besides Crocodile himself, the strongest man and woman in the organization, the professional killers.
And they are not playing around. They look so calm, so professional. It's not a chase to them, it's just a procedure. They're just walking, and Nami is sprinting her heart out, and they're still gaining on her. It's terrifying. It's like a horror movie trope.
And Mr. One says something that perfectly encapsulates their philosophy and the philosophy of Baroque Works as a whole.
It's common practice for pro-assassins to target the weakest first.
Chilling. It's not personal, it's not emotional, it is cold, tactical pragmatism. They've identified the crew's non-combatant, the navigator, and they are moving to eliminate her efficiently. This is the complete opposite of how the Straw Hats operate, where the strongest members always seek out the strongest opponents.
It's such a scummy, villainous thing to say, but he's not wrong from a tactical standpoint. Take out the support and the main fighters are weakened, but it's still infuriating. This is Nami's ultimate nightmare. She's not a monster like Luffy, Zoro, or Sanji. She fights with her wits, with tricks and gadgets, but she's up against a man who can turn his entire body into blades, and a woman who can turn the ground you're standing on into a spike pit.
Her entire fighting style is based on avoiding direct confrontation. She uses weather, misdirection, and her staff for blunt force attacks when necessary. None of that seems effective here. How do you trick a man who can just become a spinning wheel of swords? How do you outsmart a woman who can turn the ground you're standing on into a spike pit?
She has nowhere to run, and thanks to Zoro's sense of direction, no one to call for help. She is completely, totally on her own against the two most lethal members of the crew.
That's the theme of this whole arc, isn't it? Every single Straw Hat is being pushed past their absolute limit in a one-on-one fight. Usopp and Chopper had their tag team battle against Mr. Four's group. Sanji just finished his. Now it's Nami's turn.
But this doesn't feel like a one-on-one. This feels like they sent the two strongest assassins after the person least equipped for a straight-up brawl. It feels like a death sentence.
And she has to face them. It seems like an impossible matchup. The power gap is immense.
But this is what makes the Straw Hats great. It's not about being the strongest. It's about finding a way to win when you're outmatched. Nami is the queen of that. She has to be. She's the smartest person on the crew. She has to think her way out of this.
She has the Climatact, Usopp's strange invention, but we still don't really know what it's capable of. All we've seen are parlor tricks.
It makes party favors. Little clouds and rain and tiny lightning bolts. What is she gonna do? Bore them to death with weather tricks? I'm on the edge of my seat to see how she gets out of this. If she gets out of this. It's a genius move by Oda to give her this weird, seemingly useless weapon right before throwing her into the most dangerous fight of her life.
It's a perfect cliffhanger to leave her on, just as Crocodile's arrival is for Vivi. Oda is setting all the final dominoes in place. He's positioned his pieces for the climax.
Every single plotline is converging. The fights, the race for the bomb that we haven't even seen yet, Crocodile at the palace, it's all happening at once. This is what Alabasta has been building to. Pure, concentrated chaos. Super chaos!
Before we get into predictions, Oda's author comment this week was quite sweet.
Oh yeah? Lay it on me. I need something nice after all that tension.
He was thanking a fan, a TT-san, for sending him a chopper doll. He said it was cute, well-made, and that the staff gave it rave reviews. He seemed genuinely delighted by it.
Ah, that's awesome. I love that. Even in the middle of this intense, kingdom-shattering war arc, Oda takes a second to appreciate fan art. It shows how much he loves this world and the people who love it with him. That's a super creator.
It does. It's a small reminder of the genuine affection that flows both ways between the author and the audience.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, we love hearing from you all. If you have a theory about how Nami is going to survive this encounter, drop it in the comments. I need to see some hope for our navigator because right now, I am stressed out.
I'm just so curious what her strategy will be. Will she fight? Will she run? Will she use the environment?
Me too. All right, predictions for chapter 190. What do you have for me, Robin? The board is set. What are the next moves?
I have two. First, Nami's fight will begin, but it won't be a fight. It will be a chase. She'll use the Climatact not to do damage, but to create diversions and obstacles. I'm imagining her using the cloudy tempo to create a thick fog in the narrow city streets, or the rain tempo to make the cobblestones slick and difficult to walk on. She'll be using weather as a defensive tool, buying herself time to think.
A battle of wits, not brawn. Trying to outsmart them instead of overpower them. I love it. That is peak Nami. Okay, what's your second one?
My second prediction concerns Crocodile. He won't engage the army directly. That's beneath him. I believe he'll use his sand powers on a massive scale for the first time. He'll create a huge sandstorm that engulfs the entire palace plaza, causing chaos and disorientation. While everyone is blinded and disoriented, he'll slip past them and head inside the palace, specifically for the poneglyph chamber. His goal isn't the throne, it's the ancient weapon Pluton.
Ooh, a classic misdirection, a shock and awe tactic. He doesn't need to beat them, he just needs to bypass them. That feels exactly like something he would do. It's efficient, it's flashy, and it asserts his total dominance over the very element of their kingdom, sand. Very clever.
What do you have, Franky?
All right, my first one is about Zoro. He's going to get so profoundly lost looking for Nami that he'll accidentally end up at the location of the bomb. He won't know what he's found. He'll just think, weird clock. But he'll stumble right into the middle of the most critical spot in the city, probably right as the bomb plotters are there.
The ultimate narrative shortcut via a character flaw. His terrible sense of direction becomes a plot device that puts him exactly where he needs to be, even if he doesn't know it. I can see it. It's perfectly in character.
It's the only way his bad sense of direction can be a good thing. My second prediction is for the palace. I don't think Chaka or Vivi will get a chance to fight Crocodile. I think Pell will make his return. We haven't seen him since Crocodile blasted him out of the sky. I predict he'll swoop in at the last second, battered but not beaten, to intercept Crocodile, leading to a clash between the two guardian deities of Alabasta.
Pell versus Crocodile, the falcon versus the crocodile, a symbolic battle for the soul of the kingdom fought in the skies above the palace? That would be a powerful image.
You know it. It would be an incredible moment, the protector of the royal family standing as the last line of defense. The question is, will he be strong enough? We'll have to see.
Indeed we will. These next few chapters are going to be critical. Everything is coming to a head.
It's the final countdown. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Be sure to follow us so you don't miss our breakdown of the next chapter.
Until then, keep an eye on the horizon.
And watch out for sandstorms. Super.